there was a splinter group that went away to form what was called Olympics. Initially, they wanted to call themselves Highlanders Olympics. The resistance was then kwakusese labo bhuti bemalokishini. Ayikhona abafana benjengu kade kwakuselabo bhuti bemalokishini labana ababeyikhulumela into yabo bayenza abafuna ukuyenza.
Hello and welcome to the site view on Asake Online. My name is Leslie Moyo. We are continuing with our coverage of the Highlanders Football Club centenary celebrations. Remember the last time we were joined by the current CEO, Mr. Denzel Mukandla. Today on the program, I am joined by two gentlemen who are part of the Centenary Celebrations Committee. I'm joined by the Vice Chairperson, that is Mr. Nicholas Nyati, as well as a familiar face in football circles, Mr. Nhlanhla Dube, who is part of the Marketing, Media and Communications Subcommittee. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe let's start there with the committee, maybe with an overall explanation in terms of how that the Centenary Celebration Committee was set up and who makes that particular committee and the subcommittees that have been put in place.
Thank you so much, Leslie. I'm sure all of us are aware that 100 years for Highlanders is a big thing. So the leadership of Highlanders decided to set up a committee that will be responsible for celebrating the 100 years. I'm Nicholas Nyati, who is the vice chairperson, as you have already said, but de facto chairperson of the centenary celebrations. This committee is made up of a number of people who have got experience in different areas and different skills. They've got expertise to make sure that they are leading in these particular areas. The main committee is led by the board chairperson, who is Luke Mukandla. He is the chairperson for the centenary celebrations, and I'm the vice chairperson. We have got the Highlanders treasurer in the main committee. And then we have got 6 subcommittees. There is a subcommittee that is responsible for heritage and culture, a subcommittee that is responsible for supporters engagement, a subcommittee that is responsible for marketing, media and communication, of which Nhlanhla Dube is representing here. There is also a subcommittee that is responsible for sponsorship, fundraising and partnerships. And then a subcommittee that is responsible for events and management. And overall, we have to have the main committee taking responsibility for all these subcommittees. This committee reports to the executive committee and the board of Highlanders. So it's not separated from the main leadership of Highlanders. Based on these subcommittees, we have already engaged in a number of activities so far up to date. I will explain more as we move forward what events are planned for the year. And this is a big year for all of us.
Yeah, 100 years it's quite a milestone for an institution like Highlanders. Maybe, Mr. Dube, maybe just take us back to the beginning in terms of the formative years of the club and how it came to be. I know some of us are young. We came to know of Highlanders in our when we were as teenagers going to school. But the club is massive and it has a massive history.
Yeah. Thanks, Leslie. Of course, I'm Nhlanhla Bahlangene Dube, branded that way because there are many other Nhlanhla Dubes. So I've tried to fly different.
Yeah.
So it's always fantastic to have these opportunities to talk about the history of Highlanders and share what I've learned from associating with the club and with the various icons and epochs in the club. And I like the way you ask me as if to say you're asking my forefathers abasemahlombe. So ngangikhona.
True.
So look, it so happens ukuthi Highlanders is formed out of, if you like, the demise of the Ndebele monarchy, the after the disappearance of the last Ndebele king, Inkosi uLobhengula. Abelungu, what they then did, I think, in understanding how society reforms, reshapes itself based on its culture, traditions, and belief systems, understood, I think, that kumele bachithe ukwenzela ukuthi kungabuthani futhi. So a lot of the princes, the grandsons of Inkosi uLobhengula, were then taken away and out of the country, far afield. A lot of them, ukuthi we had some that went as far as England and so forth and so one or two. But principally, abantwana bakaNjube, who Njube Ilogich is named after, Albert Lorods Khumalo, were then taken to a college in South Africa, ngabelungu Lorods, ostensibly ukuthi bayofundela izinto ezithize, but intrinsically that was meant to make sure ukuthi people won't coalesce around them njengabantwana benkosi engasekho bezama ukubuthelela. So anyway, fast forward, they went there. After some time, they came back. Bephendukile, they had fallen in love, I think, and played football in South Africa. So when they came back, Albert Lorods babuthanisa intanga zabo. Remember ukuthi lokholo lwasolungena, disarming was now in process. Kwakungasela zimpi. Lokuzingela so kuyikuzingela constraint, so they needed to find social activities, and they learned ibora. So they came and then they started this club. I do not think that in the wildest of their imaginations babe kubona futuristically, which is why it is so important for us to also handle into le with the understanding ukuthi insika yayo ilomkantsho thize owenze ukuthi izifike sixake lathi iza kwedlula. What do we leave for the next 100 years? So it's important when they started it as just a social activity. Yeah, bayinikeza ibizo bathi Lions, babevunula ezibomvu. Whether that was incidental or babekutholile ukuthi bakuvunule, I wouldn't know, but babegqoka okubomvu. As time went on, Highlanders then, with the influence of a Scottish missionary, I think, I can't remember whether he's an educator or a missionary, but anyway, a Scottish man, yasisiba Highlanders, Matabeleland Highlanders, because of the Scottish Highlands. Yeah, Matabeleland in acknowledging ukuthi is a Matabeleland. At that point then, yasinanzelela ukuthi igxile eMatabeleland, ibunjwe ngomkantsho lodokoza lwenkosi iyakucina yamaNdebele, uLobhengula. Basebe sithi Matabeleland Highlanders ezavunula hathi okubomvu, yasitshintshela-ke ekuvunuleni okumnyama lokumhlophe. Lokho kuliwaba ngesindebele. Iwaba is the interspacing of black and white esikhumbeni senkomo. Ibutho eliseduze lenkosi uLobhengula ayethwa ngamawaba, hence emawabeni. So there would have been what today would call the presidential guard, if you like, the king's man.
Yes.
So in amabutho, you remember ukuthi Ndebele society was regimented against a military concept. Isigodlo lesigodlo were really military establishments in a sense, abavikela isigodlo, so they were spread all over. Now, isigodlo lesigodlo ibutho lebutho lalivunula ngendlela etshengiselayo ukuthi bangobani. Ukwenzela ukuthi insuka mina ungayibona lapha uzayibona ngokuthi ivunule ngembala enjani. In that way, amawaba kalobhengula they were black and white. Yikho kuthiwa ngamawaba kalobhengula in acknowledgement and in recognition and in respect. Basebetshintshela ke to black and white. Yikho ke la namhlanje the principal color, playing color is black and white in respect and recognition. Hence, even the symbols and the symbolisms, amahlolanyama, for instance, are black and white. Hatshi amawabaya amathendele impangela, they are black and white. Umantengwane umnyama. Ungakhangela inyoni zonezo zilobudlelwano lokukhula kwabafana, lama activities abafana nxa bezingela, nxa benqanda inkomo, beselusa inkomo, into abahlangana lazo egangeni, kodwa ezinhle, ezilobuhle, ezilokwenza lempumela yento yabisenzakala, significant markers empilweni yamajaha. So those were also then incorporated as time went on. So that is then how Highlanders has grown over time, incorporating various people, various players. There were people way back ababekhona ekusunguleni Highlanders, uCharlton Ncebecha, of course, Onsele, Hlabangane, all late, all great names. But there have been many in between in epochs that have carried Highlanders up to where it is today.
So obviously, with the ukhula kwelizwe and setting up of structures, ended up playing in the Premier Soccer League. Maybe let's look at some of its memorable achievements. I know you have been part of the club for some time. What are some of those memorable achievements that made AMA supporters, Highlanders, be proud of the team that they support? Yeah.
Manengi kakhulu. But it's also significant that you ask that question. Ngoba ungakhangela the songs in poem that are expressed on the terraces normally speak to epochs. And those epochs speak to success in accolades or success in defeating destruction, if you like, if I could put it that way. So you'll have songs, for instance, like Mbanoa Ekhona Mhlana Kudlala Ibhoso. That song came out of the victory in 1975, I think, Chibuku, Erufaro. I think Lawrence was in that team. Bruce Grobler was in that team. So there were very, very interesting icons in that team. So ingoma Liana ikhuluma ngesuccess yona Liana. So that was a big success. Guye, you know, Highlanders have succeeded in being, you know, hitting AMA markers. Like we were the first club to tour Europe, I think, out of Zimbabwe when Highlanders went to Germany. That was a huge success. Highlanders also carried the city of Bulawayo in partnership when we twinned with Aberdeen, you know, when Ikeng Yabo, the late Benjani Nkonjera, or Adam or McKay, I think they were in that squad. AI Aberdeen is under, I think they were under 16s. They were juniors. Lolo Alibaba, I think Lo Cosma Zulu went in that group. So there are those epochs, but later on, you know that then Highlanders went on that famous 4-year, you know, juggernaut, winning the Premiership every year, and in 1 year it won just about everything. It was the Premiership, Dairy Board trophy. I think there was Ipati, sponsored by Econet Charity Shield. There was the Zifa Unity Cup, where they beat Shabani. I think it was 4-1 in the final, Ipapa Fields. But for that period, Highlanders really strangled competition and set the markers. But institutionally, Highlanders has also succeeded in exporting, I think, some of the biggest exports into European football, into international football. The first African player to play in the British Premier League was Peter Ndlovu, coming out of Highlanders at 16, direct export. And I think he held the longest record of scoring a hat-trick at the Kop and Enfield. So it's a long record. So you had Bruce, you had Peter, you had Adam, of course, playing at FC Zurich, but he nearly made it into Manchester United. You had Raman Kumbo playing in Cyprus, Omatinda going to Germany, the late Willard Khumalo like playing abroad. So we had a lot of the earlier weight of exports into Europe, so thereby elevating our national brand of football, which is why even at the highest of our national, if you like, success, maybe not in winning the or qualifying for CAF nations tournaments, but in terms of pulling Zimbabweans into one solid support base for the Warriors, because before that, abantu babehamba omnye ugqoka iskipa sakhe of this club, omnye this club, omnye that club. But once the Warriors of Fabish were then formed, and then they had 8 Highlanders or former Highlanders players in that squad. So that contribution its own was a marker of the weight and strength of Highlanders' space in the national tapestry of football. So those are some of the greatest markers. But on defeating obstacles, Highlanders also made a lot of markers, which is why you hear Babetika Ibulawe, Skona Tina Raisozi Ibulawe. You then want to say what had happened. I'm sure we'll speak about it as we go along.
That was going to be my next question in terms of like any other institution Highlanders has faced its low moments, and you did hint earlier on that they even now have songs that speak to that. Maybe we can just share in brief some of those low moments and how the club managed to climb out of those.
So of course, Highlanders is a repository of memory, of history, of hope, and of a people's culture, and that speaks to everything that Highlanders does. Ilima esintwini is our concept of volunteerism. Highlanders' leadership, participation in its activities has always been driven by the spirit of volunteerism. So Highlanders had 2 significant events that could have broken it but made it stronger. The first one was a split where another club came out of Highlanders called Cobras. Of course, they couldn't last without the weight and mass and spirit of Highlanders. So Ukumeta used to put it this way to me. You can take Highlanders today, but the constitution of Highlanders is in people's hearts. So unless you can take the people's hearts, you can't take Highlanders. So yes, you can take it, you can take everything, but you can't form anything there, Uti Highlanders, and people will go there, because you must understand Ubuntu Babo. It's their hopes, it's their desires reposited into this 100-year-old organ called Highlanders. Thinking, walking, talking, breathing institution. Now, then later there was 70s, thereabouts. I can't remember the date exactly, the year exactly, but there was another split. It was around the time disgruntlement when there was, the formation, the mooted formation of South Zone, and Highlanders wanted to pull out of the National League and so forth and so on. Then Abanye, but no, nothing is going to happen. Singapore out, we're not going to be able to raise the money and so forth and so on. So as usual, people have conflicting ideas about how to deal with the situation. So there was a splinter group that went away to form what was called Olympics. Initially, they wanted to call themselves Highlanders Olympics. The resistance was then kwakusese labo bhuti bemalokishini. Ayikhona abafana benjengu kade kwakusese labo bhuti bemalokishini labana ababeyikhulumela into yabo bayenza bafuna ukuyenza. It was if you spoke to some of I had the privilege of speaking to some of the greats from Highlanders that went to Olympics, like the late Uperi Daka. Fantastic man. A huge repository of history. And he told me ukuthi lokuye training yangikhona kwaba nzima. Hence the song babethi kayibulawe sikhona thina kayisoze ibulawe. So those that saw themselves as defending the institution against laba basebefuna ukuyisplita ngokusplita away, whatever their good reasons were, however the belief and the understanding was insika ye-Highlanders awungeke wayiqamula ibe kabili asomalunga emfe. So those are some of the near difficult moments that could have, not maybe near difficult, very difficult moments that could have split it. It did have the makings of a split, but because of the strength, the heart of Highlanders, it survived.
Yeah, maybe I can come in, Leslie. While we are talking about the Highlanders in terms of the successes, but for an institution to be sustainable is also investing in assets. I think leadership for the club that saw it fit to invest in assets also made Highlanders become as strong as it is today. Highlanders, maybe now, might be the only club that has got clear assets in terms of offices. It's the club that has got a clubhouse with grounds. It's a club that also had a camping site where its players could go and sleep before they go for the game. For me, I look at that as a very strong success for the club, that it was able to invest in those assets. One would wish there is growth in terms of building those assets. For me, that is very important for us to mention. And we thank Gumede and his team for what they did. We would have loved it that Gumede is around to celebrate 100 years with us. But it is not all of us who have got the privilege to celebrate 100 years. There are few people who are celebrating. So all those people who support Highlanders, all those people who love Highlanders, it is a privilege that we come together and celebrate this year. Thank you.
You speak of assets, you speak of support, and obviously one of the biggest assets for Highlanders is its massive fan base. I think over the years, people have always tried to downplay the huge support that Highlanders has in terms of its fans. Maybe, Mr. Dube, what makes Highlanders supporters so unique? I mean, we've seen other clubs, trying to build its fan base, but somehow they still fall short. But for Highlanders, you did mention that it's so organic, maybe because it's steeped in the culture and the history of the people of this part of the country.
Let me put it this way. Mina ngizalwa koDube.
Yes.
Ubaba mkhulu wami ngiyamazi. Ubaba wami ngiyamazi. Izangelo zakwethu zicho ukuthi ngingubani.
True.
Kunjalo la kuNyathi.
Yes.
Yikho ke okuyi-Highlanders. I-Highlanders is part of the DNA yemuli ezizithi singabantu besintwini, as in like the umbrella that is called, initially the umbrella that is called Matabeleland. It has then grown because that is where isiqu sayo esikhona. It has then, like a baobab tree, grown and spread everywhere. Everyone else, yes, like we support clubs, will support it, will follow it. And I will explain that. Will follow it out of admiration. They will also follow it out of fashion. Kodwa abathi ngiyabo. Bathi ngiyabo ngoba i-Highlander umuntu nxa engowakochuma esinye isibongo sakhe ngo-Highlander. Umuntu nxa engowekhezi engowakosibanda esinye isibongo sakhe ngo-Highlander. Umuntu nxa eseKhalome esanyathi engowakonyathi esinye isibongo sakhe i-Highlander. So it is part of the cosmos of the people. It's part of the tapestry of abantu. Ungaya kugogo osekhaya ongakwaziyo ukuthi umele ube le membership card, ongakwaziyo ukuthi i-Highlander nxa iwinile iyawina 3 points, ongakwaziyo ukuthi idlalelwa mbani kathesi, ungakubuza ngoMark Watson engxenye nxa isakhumbula, kodwa uyakubuza ukuthi idlala njani i-Highlander kulezi insuku. It is part of you need to understand that ukuthi iyubuntu babantu. So they protect it like they will protect their very names, their very surnames, izangelo zabo, ubuntu babo, and so forth. But because it's a football team, it's a sporting club, it has then spread. And as Unyati was saying, one will wish that it then grows in terms of its economic weight, so that it adds value to its members, to its supporters. We can employ much more people than we do as an institution, and it can live for much, much longer. Islanders, remember, it had to redefine itself and come with the definition of itimi ezwelonke. When at a point around the 2000s, it was being silogized as itim yakobulawayo, kumbe itim kuphela yabantu abakhuluma limitile. And then it, as it always does, it explains itself and defines itself as broader than a silo of a single region. And ngoba at that point, it was at a time again when it was steamrolling and beating everyone and winning everything around the 2000s. You would travel from here, Lyceum Mtare. You would go everywhere, all go Satsa, go Chivu, wherever you stop, you find people that will support Highlanders. But they will be supporting Highlanders. They didn't even have an issue. They didn't understand Highlanders from the perspective that it was maybe being silogized in. So for that reason, Highlanders then defined itself, Tina impande zethu zikobulawayo. Kodwa ingatsha zethu sezingumthunzi osulalamele ilizwe lonke. Therefore, yithimu yelizwe lonke, meaning anyone and everyone can participate, can enjoy it, can follow it. It is absolutely everyone's club in that sense. But it has obviously gone international because we had international players. We had Wheeler. We had, white coaches before the late Eddie May. We had, what was his name? During the Hang Ten, during the Hang Ten era, I forget his name. How do I forget his name right now? Anyway, the American guy. So we had Andrew Shue. So we had a lot of other players, or Kelly Jacobson later. So we because of that, our footprint went further. But of course, with the diaspora movement now, we have much more of our people, Zimbabweans, going out into the diaspora and creating the footprint everywhere else. So that shows you how far and wide Highlanders have gone. And one would hope my children, my sons, support Highlanders even without going to watch them at Barberfields. I want them to go to Barberfields and watch Highlanders all the time. And I want to grow that culture of stadium going support with them. However, even when they don't go, you can sell them any other club. But
then speaking of the diaspora support in terms of growing the brand, how has that helped in terms of the sustainability of the club and also the brand going beyond Zimbabwe, like you put it? You rightfully explained that ingatsha zayo sezinabele ilizweni lonke, but now beyond, and we have people in the UK, people in South Africa, people all over the world who proudly carry the Highlanders brand.
So for a long time, Nico, you come in. So for a long time, what has happened is that maybe the initial active diaspora ever since Wenela was Egoli in South Africa. So South Africa formed themselves pretty quickly because they were also near and because abantu abaningi baba kakhulu in South Africa before they went everywhere else. So in South Africa for a long time were leading in organized support for the club. And this organized support was always in terms of financial support, in terms of logistical support, if the team is traveling, if there was someone coming through, maybe a player or a coach coming through South Africa, members will put together the resources and support logistically, in terms of even kitting, the youth teams, the girls teams, organizing, mobilizing footballs, training equipment. They've always been at the heart of that for a long time. However, then with the movement and the presence of more of our people in the UK, in Canada, and in America, they've got chapters there. The America chapter covers Canada and the USA. So they also organize themselves in like fashion, in the same passionate manner. Remember, you have just moved people from here, or people have moved from here to another geographical location. Their heart, their blood is still the same. So they are organizing with the same passion. They are mobilizing with the same passion. What is now required is for the club to be able to mobilize matters around replica sales, paraphernalia sales, shirt sales, and so forth and so on, so that that economic outlet can then be utilized to fulfill the club's needs. So, Nico.
Yeah, like I indicated when we started here, we have got different pillars that are part of 100 Years Celebration. So there is a supporters engagement pillar that is led by ES Dube. It is connected to chapters all over the world. We've got chapters in America. We've got a chapter in America responsible for North and Southern America. We've got a chapter in the UK. We've got a chapter in the Middle East. We've got a chapters in Africa, South Africa, Botswana. We've got chapters locally, Harare and chapters. All these chapters are already planning to be part of the 100-year celebrations. We are likely to have celebrations in those countries. For example, the Botswana chapter is already planning to come up with a big event that is going to happen in Botswana. We also appreciate already they showed some support when our team went to Botswana. These are the chapters that are assisting in terms of logistics. They are assisting financially whenever the team or other people are participating in those countries. And we foresee them contributing meaningful as we move forward. Thank you.
Okay. They may be coming to you, focusing now on the main activities. You've already highlighted some of the work that is being done on the ground in terms of the centenary celebrations. But maybe take us through the main events that are lined up, whether locally or in other countries where the other chapters are based.
Thank you, Leslie, for that. The club is going to celebrate big time. And this is what is going to happen this year. People will ask which event is the biggest. All events are big enough for us to celebrate. Maybe let me talk about one of the biggest events that we are going to have. We are going to have an exhibition match where we are going to have soccer teams coming from other countries. I can't state which ones now, but all of you, I know you'll be excited to hear that one of the teams from another country will be coming. We hope that team will come. We all know that particular team. So we are hoping that it's likely to be a 4-team event where Highlanders will be part of that, another local team, and then maybe 2 other teams. That this event is likely to take place July, August, during the break, during the PSL break. We are also going to have a music gala. This one will happen in May. So we're already planning to have it in May. So where all our local musicians will be playing, and we know people would love to be part of that. So we're going to be announcing about that gala very soon in terms of where it's going to be, how we are going to have it. And we are also going to have a family day where everyone is going to participate. And this one will be a big event. And we are likely to be cutting a cake on during that time. Because people are asking, when was Highlanders born? Highlanders was born in 1926. It was born throughout. That's what I can say. Trying to avoid with
Christmas.
So we are going to have that. So those are some of the events. We're also going to have tournaments for the legends, from other countries also to come and be together. But there is also a Highlanders Centenary Charity Golf Classic, which is going to take place. There is a team that is already working on that. It's likely to be in July for us to have all international golfers coming here to support the club. Why do we also want to have the charity? Because Highlanders has got a social responsibility to support those that are disadvantaged. So we expect the corporates to come in and work with us so that they can also help us to support those who are disadvantaged. So there are a number of events that are going to be taking place, and I'll share with you the calendar so that you can also look at that. But those are the main activities that we are talking about. Oh, maybe the other one, because it's happening in 2 weeks' time. While it is in Klomela Taramela, because Taramela is also somebody that is revered by all of us. Highlanders will be there participating big time at that particular event. Around August to September, we're also going to be having a National Gallery where we are going to be showcasing the history of the club, where we are also going to have legends talking to people, we are also going to have artists, bringing all kinds of things at the gallery. So these are the events that are planned for the year. But it doesn't stop people celebrating any time. Like I have said, chapters will be celebrating throughout as we move. If they decide to celebrate anytime, we're going to support them to do that. Thank you so much.
I also saw another. I think it was posted on the club Facebook page where they're encouraging supporters every Friday to wear their Highlanders colors and celebrate and make it a Highlanders Friday.
Yeah. So yes, we are identifying a number of days or dates where Highlanders people have to just show Highlanders black and white. Like one Ntlanhla said, black and white is a symbol, and that symbol says a lot for us. So if people are doing that, they are demonstrating to the world that this club is very important. That's the culture. And we have to make sure that we also protect the culture, and it has got a big heritage. So that is very important. So we're going to be having those events as we move forward, which have got nothing to do with other things. These are specifically for us to celebrate the club and enjoy what the club has had. Maybe Ntlanhla can add on that.
Yeah. So ultimately, what the club desires to do through the 100 Years Committee is to create a fanfare for the whole year, but also then to create not only enjoyment and fun, but to try and to leverage on the 100-year celebrations, to create a commercial possibility for the club. You will notice that unfortunately we didn't wear that, but there's a logo, a 100-year logo, which is meant to be affixed to nearly as much as, if not all, paraphernalia that will be created this year. So there are various people that are interested in creating paraphernalia, shirts, T-shirts, all sorts of things. We are still inviting people. We are reviewing what they're creating to find ways of how we work with them commercially, of course. Those that want to do it pro bono, fantastic. We are happy, but those that want to create a commercial possibility between the club and their companies, we are happy to do that. But we want to ultimately have all the products benefiting the club. We are volunteering. Nico is volunteering. I'm volunteering. All the people that are in the 100 Years Committee are volunteers. So we want people to understand that we are all driven by the Highlander spirit and want to drive the Highlander spirit. But I just want to add something else quickly that, let me see if it's here. You see, the Ihaule established 1926 in now. So Highlanders has continuously morphed and grown and responded to its reality. That was not the logo when branding was not a big issue before Highlanders went to Swaziland 1975, 1976. The Highlanders toured to Swaziland. And Ugumete being a cultural man, wahawela iloko ihawula maswati, wahle walithwala wabuyalala. And in Gumede's words, and I want to quote Gumede because it's important, I think, for our history. So ukuthi okay sasesithatha ihouse silihawukele in the national pay lines zinqaba. That is where we got it from, because it's got gigantic meaning for us as well. Ugumede uthi sasesifika lapha sasesithi manje sithini omunye umuntu wasethatha ibhora walijikela phakathi. So so the logo it explains the soccer ball in there. So we got this from the cultural interrelations with other cultures around us, and therefore we got that logo. So that in everything that you do, you'll see the Highlanders logo. But we continue to create newness. However, we hold on to tradition also, because those are our roots in Sigayetu.
Yeah, if it's quite it's been a topical issue, I think, for the past. People saying so I'm sure now people understand where it's coming from and where it's going. But also maybe building on these 100 years, looking at the future, how is Highlanders positioning itself in terms of growing its brand further, and also maybe looking at youth development. We're looking at the commercial aspects that maybe you both touched on.
Youth development has always been there. You remember that the strength of Highlanders is always having a strong youth development process, which made sure that you don't buy as many players as you can produce. Of course, dynamics have changed. You have more academies, more youth teams now, and so forth and so on. However, what Highlanders is trying to do, what we understand Highlanders wants to do, is one that Highlanders has got its facilities. Nick has already spoken about what is called Hotel California. That was a nickname given to the camping house eSeluveve by the group Zabo Dagi, Douglas Mloyi, Labo, the Ira Yabo Rambo, Mercedes Vanda, the late, of course, Raman Kumpo. That group, remember, it was also at the time Owawule, that song in that movie Hotel California. So then they called it Hotel California. Then they used to sleep with my bankers, my bunk bed. It's 3-bedroom house, but they used to sleep with my bankers. Gatesi, it's only 2 players per room, single beds. Things have changed. So the idea is to grow that facility so that it speaks to modernity. So all these activities hope to raise commercial ability for the club also, to be able to do that. But also to grow. Highlanders has got 3 fully fledged football pitches eHlabangana, again named Hlabangana after uHlabangana uNsele Kaloche. We'll stop there, but you see the history and what it means. So iHlabangana, they are fully fledged football pitches, 3 of them. So the idea has always been to be able to grow them to a level where the Highlanders doesn't have to pay to go and hire council facilities for training, because it limits how much time they've got to train. They can do specialized training, but you don't have your youth teams training also there, but you can't also do other commercial activities around the pitches. So all this is to try and pool resources. And of course, we're thankful Uguti, there's already been movement in terms of the club facility. We know that the main clubhouse has been spruced up over the last few years in partnership. Now there's a wall in the perimeter that is being erected, again, because of the attractiveness of Highlanders to community. So we're thankful for that, and hopefully, together with real commercial interest, sales of the club's names, and its activities, that the club can then grow like that. Then that way, you then plug into, in my view, the country's vision for tourism, and then you raise sport tourism. We know our clubs, there are quite a lot of clubs, Zimbabwean clubs, that went outside Zimbabwe to Botswana particularly for pre-season. We can have the same happening here. And then we have partnerships with hotels, and then we've got a facility. So that way we can then grow and then fund the activities around growing youth, growing, girls football, which is quite big now and getting bigger. So that is what the club is trying to do. So it's not only celebration, but it's also laying the foundation and markers to grow commercially and economically.
And maybe as part of your parting shots, what's your message to the Highlanders supporters in terms of getting them to rally and to support these celebrations that have been lined up?
Yeah, I will let him talk about supporters. But for me, I want to ask the corporates to come forward and work with us for them to get a value from Highlanders brand so that they grow their businesses. We look forward to their support. We know already their sponsors who have been supporting Highlanders Football Club, but we would also ask other sponsors to come in and sell and support these celebrations. That's where we are looking at the corporates really coming forward big time. Thank you.
So the message to the fans is the undying, for me, is not really resuscitating because it's there, but it's galvanizing the undying spirit and passion of Ubu Highlander. In the past, they would come together nxa izinto sezinzima bathi angeke yabulawa thina sikhona. That has morphed to, well, it morphed further to ingaziye koGrispan siyayilandela uGrispan kusesikwakweni. So they'd gone to a point where they said, whatever you do to us in competition, if we lose fairly or unfairly and we're relegated, we will remain Highlanders and we'll follow it. It flipped later in later years to ubuhle bebhoso ngabalandeli bayo. Without its followers, without its members, who are its society, who are its community, Highlanders is, I can't even say is less, there is no Highlanders. So i-Highlanders ngabantu babo, ubu-Highlander ibukhulu be community yabo. So I would like to say to the Highlanders community, its members, its followers, that we have got a huge responsibility as the current living generation. Sithwele insika yomndeni, which is now 100 years old. Siqhutshelwe lathi over different epochs, with different difficulties, with different successes, with myriads of challenges. Kodwa ize yafika lapha ekhona namhlanje. So it does not matter what our aspirations are versus what our difficulties are right now. The most important thing is this: ingafeli ezandleni zethu. Let it be bigger, better when we bequeath it to the next generation, so they can tell stories, because it's a repository of Ubuntu Babantu. It's pala of experiences, painful and good, local and national and international. So it's global now. So it is our responsibility ukuthi kungaze kube nzima njani siyaya. Sizaze siyofika phezu kwentaba. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Obabunyati and Uwabudube for joining us today on the program. We're talking about the Highlanders centenary celebrations. Remember, Highlanders being formed in 1926, celebrating a massive 100 years in 2026, and so many activities have been lined up to celebrate this key milestone for a team loved by so many people in all over the world. So let's meet again in the next edition of this journey of celebrating Highlanders and celebrating the 100 years next time when we meet again. Thank you so much for joining us.